Very interesting turn of events with Canelo siding with PBC. I think we can do a video later that gets more in depth. You know, Canelo, he's a good fighter, solid fighter, and this is a pretty good move by PBC. You know, it'll get investors and people to trust in him more and things like that. But in terms of how this affects the Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight, well, I think majority of us already knew that politics were going to play some part and aspect into this fight. Errol Spence is the house fighter in this scenario, and they funneled a whole division to Errol Spence when it even came to things like paying Stanionis and whoever else stepped aside money, you know, when they were mandatories, you know, emailing Ugas a belt. When people sit here and tell me that this man beat champs, and you're trying to call that the easy route. Again, when you're doing those types of moves, they're just propping up dudes with belts. Do you understand? That does not make them a champion. We've given you this examples in the past. You put Ugas, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and Keith Thurman's title defenses up against Terence Crawford. They don't compare. You understand? Real champs. You're going to see what a real champ is on July 29th. You understand? But we knew that politics was going to play a factor into this, and this just amplifies politics even more. You know, Crawford can't let it go to the cards. And I'm going to tell you another factor in this fight. We've already mentioned this in past videos. What they're going to do to try to justify Errol Spence being in this fight is with punch stats, you understand? And we've seen this in plenty of his fights, you know? The punch stat man's going to be going crazy on Errol Spence if he decides to throw volume and things like that. Punch stat man's just going to be sitting there pushing the button. I'm telling you that right now. Plus, you know, they do this a lot for people. Even fighters like Lomachenko, they kind of puff up the punch stats, you understand? They'll be giving him credit for punches that aren't even landing, things like that. But plus, they're not going to be counting punches for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, he lands clean punches. He lands clearly. You know, that's going to kind of befuddle him, but they're still going to justify Spence with volume. They did the same thing for Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao. You know, Thurman was throwing a lot of flurries and things like that. He wasn't necessarily landing clean punches, but they were still, that man was still pushing that button, you understand? I am not concerned about this. I see a lot of people talking about this, and yeah, it definitely umps the ante, and like I says, amplifies the politics in this fight, but I still don't think it's going to have any bearing on July 29th. I really don't. These guys, even how they used Sean Porter, as Terence Crawford said, to gauge him versus Errol Spence. And you saw how Spence disappointingly walked out of that arena. Well, ran out of that arena, you understand? They really want this rhetoric that they pushed these past 5 or 6 years to be true. And they're still using it even today in the press conferences. You haven't fought no one. You're a hype job, essentially, is what they're saying. You're smoke and mirrors. Top Rank has the best matchmaking. You know, and a lot of casuals, they believe this narrative, you know, and I think Errol Spence himself believes this stuff. But regardless if Errol Spence wins or loses or not, I think he'll still be in play for the Canelo fight. You know, he'll have an L on his record, but it'll still be two decent names. Well, Spence is a decent name. He's not a superstar, you understand. But, you know, it'll be a decent name and it'll be a fun fight to watch Canelo knock this dude out too. I mean, we're just going to keep it a buck on this channel. And Spence, he's already in that Mikey Garcia mode and mindset. He's been in that mindset for years where he's willing to sell his O just like Keith Thurman and everybody else. So, you know, I see a lot of people, this is adding a little bit of shock value and things. To me, this doesn't change anything. Again, just like Mickey Garcia, Errol Spence, you're willing to move up and sell your O. This dude was even saying he's willing to fight at like 160. I forgot what he said, 165 or something. So it just shows you what kind of I was going to use expletive, but a garden tool he is. You understand? Mickey did the same thing. You ducked Gamboa. You didn't want to fight Lomachenko, but you went up to go for a paycheck and be, you know, you know, be a sacrifice pretty much, just for a little paycheck. So he's definitely on his Mickey Garcia. If anything, this tells me that this dude, I hope you're focusing on Terrence Crawford and you're not still focusing on Canelo, you know, AKA just focusing on that paycheck, man. Don't overlook Crawford in this fight. You understand? I don't know what this man's doing, but I definitely am getting Mickey Garcia vibes, and I've been getting those vibes. His enthusiasm and everything for Canelo fight always was more than the enthusiasm and stuff that he showed for Terrence Crawford. You know, don't be overlooking Terrence Crawford, or you're definitely going to be one of my new highlight reels. You're going to be that regardless, but we're definitely going to put some good work in that highlight film. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you that right now. I already have the music and everything picked out. And it's been plotted and planned like the past 5 years. I've been like sampling music and all this. I'm trying to tell you guys, that one's going to be epic for you, those of you who like that Sean Porter one. This one's going to blow that one out of the water easily. I already have the format that I'm going to use and everything else. But Errol Spence, man, you're pretty much Mickey Garcia at this point, bro. To me, this is just further proof. And you know, man, you're definitely after that check. Again, he's been talking about money. I've never heard this man complain about sanctioning bodies before. You know, I'm just seeing Keith Thurman, you know, checked out mindset. Let me show up and get my paycheck, Mickey Garcia type deal. And Danny Garcia as well, you know. Even Ugas, that fight was very strange, awkward, you know. You know, plenty of people have a right to raise their eyebrow at some of these fights, you know. But that's all I got for now. Just coming out with a little quick shot, you know, quick hit on you. But yeah, I see too much Mickey Garcia and Errol Spence right now, man. And PBC, yeah, they're willing to sacrifice Errol Spence for a little bit of money too. That's just how PBC is. I don't think they care about these fighters at the end of the day. I really don't. Look what they're doing to Jamal Charlo. If that's what they're doing, have him sit a layoff, put him on a spinning spree, you know, and, you know, try to make him feel better that way. We'll get more detail in that fight as well. I think it's going to be interesting. If Jamal can get his mind right, I think he does have a decent chance in this fight. I know that's going to throw a lot of people off, but, you know, it's always been a mental thing with Jamal. We can get into that in the future, though. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.